So, it continues. Hello there, welcome back to Max's Writing Advice Q&A. In tonight's episode, I have a nice selection of questions picked by a random number generator and sent by viewers just like you. As always, before I go anywhere, allow me to remind you that if you have a writing question, please feel free to put it down in the comments below. Every week, questions are chosen randomly, so your question is as likely to be picked as anyone else. It's the fairest way to do so. And one more thing, as always, allow me to remind you that the following is merely just my advice, my opinion, and what works for me. Don't take it as gospel, instead take it as the ramblings of a silly person with the most obnoxious Star Wars top ever. 3 questions, 3 minutes a pop. Let's dive right in. The first question goes a little bit like this. How do you get the courage to start writing again when it's been forever since you finished anything? Timer! Start! First and foremost, let us remember that writing is just like any other discipline, okay? It doesn't matter how much time has passed. All that matters is that you get back into it. Real talk right now. Completely honest, like I am all the time. It's going to be hard. Of course it is. It's like trying to prepare yourself to run another marathon after years of not doing so. It's gonna be hard. But remember that it gets better. It gets better really quickly. All you gotta do is just get started with writing. And I recommend wholeheartedly that you pick a story that seems fun to you, a story idea that excites you, and just start writing it. Write it with no apologies, no hesitation, just write whatever excites you and have fun. That will make it so much easier. And I know that it sucks to hear this, and I know that nobody wants to hear this, but I pride myself in being honest with you all the time and telling you the things as they are, or at least as I see them. It's going to be hard. Yes, it is. But you can get over that. You can move past it, you can get back into writing, and trust me, the instant you're done with it, the instant you're done with that first session, you will feel that you're getting back there. It takes a little bit, it's always hard, but it always gets better, okay? Pick a fun story idea, focus on you, on having fun, on enjoying the process, and just get started. Just start writing, okay? I hope that helps. With that really passionate answer out of the way, let's move over to question numero dos. It goes a little bit like this. Hey Max, what advice would you give when characters want an easy life? There's no conflicts, it's been real frustrating. I understand characters develop from plot, but they just want an easy life. I feel I can't finish a story because of this. I want to add conflict to the story, but it somehow never seems to work out. And timer! Missed it! Start! Thank you for noting that. I like that people are understanding, and that's good. As I mentioned in the past, I believe that plot arises from character. Plot is the byproduct of characters taking actions, making choices, and facing the consequences of said choices. So it's understandable that you're writing a story, and you're throwing problems at the characters, or problems don't materialize, and it feels as though the characters just want an easy life. And some characters do. It's completely natural. Some people want an easy life. So it's understandable that characters, just like people, would want that. And I also completely understand that throwing problems at these characters or trying to, make things difficult for them can be really unsuccessful, especially when maybe they have the capabilities to overcome any sort of problem. Or things just turn out well for them. And for situations like this, I have one piece of advice. One particular shift in the narrative that may possibly help your situation, okay? There is a type of story that is not new to the literary genre. It's actually one of those things that is actually a type of story that is not written as much anymore, at least it's mostly focused on nonfiction, but you can do a fiction story around that as well. Easygoing characters, the type of people who want an easy life are hard to push into changing. That is, unless the world around them is forcing them to change. What I recommend to you, and I don't know if this fits with your story or not, but I would like to inspire you to look at the world that you're writing about, the world that this character is, and throw this world into a time of flux. It could be a war, it could be a time of social crisis. Have the world become hell for this character to the extent that they must either change, adapt, or perish. Simple as that. It is through adversity that people's steel is truly tested, so give this character lots of adversity. The type of story that I'm talking about is a character adapting to the changing times, which is a theme that has existed throughout the entirety of human history, and it is so uniquely a part of us, of our history, of our culture, such a part of like our way of thinking and our sense for survival that the times are always changing. And just when you're comfortable, just when you think that everything is fine, something happens. Maybe it's immediate to your character, maybe it's super external. I think I've given this advice in the past, but like nothing throws off a character harder than their nation declaring war on another country, or another country declaring war on their country, because that changes your life. There's no way you're high class enough, rich enough that it won't change the way that your life is going. So that's what I think. I think you should consider the world, the setting that you have, and lean back in your chair and wonder, what if the changing times were the antagonist of my story? With that being said, let's go over to question number 3. It goes a little bit like this. What do you do when a minor character is so interesting that it distracts from the main characters / main plot? Alright, timer on, let's go, let's dive right in. Real talk right now, okay? One of the biggest pieces of advice I recommend for any writer, and just for people in general, be honest with yourself, lean back, take a deep breath and ask yourself, do I really feel like this? Is that minor character really so interesting? I've talked about in the past about the idea of the shiny new idea problem. And whenever you're in the middle of writing, every other story idea seems so much more interesting. That's why, like, a part of me wanted to give you advice such as, you know, like, oh, maybe explore that character's story. But honestly, I look at your question and I feel that it's more about the shiny idea problem. Because when you're in the middle of writing, especially like the end of the first act or the middle of the second act where things are getting moving, you know where you can kind of see where the story is going, but you have to walk that entire journey. And it's not exciting from moment to moment, and suddenly you start finding ideas everywhere. Flip over a rock, there's like 10, and they're also shiny and pretty. Maybe I can write both of them at the same time. That's how terrible choices begin. I don't know about people who can actively write 2 stories at the same time, but I'm told they exist. Maybe you're one of them, maybe you're not. I recommend that in situations like this, be honest with yourself. Is that minor character really so interesting, or are they interesting because, like, the story right now is not being fun to write? If that is the case, I recommend you, if you haven't already, check out my planning guide. I built an entire planning guide about around the foundation of knowing what the core elements of your story are, what inspired you to write, and so whenever that you're feeling down, you can remind yourself, oh yeah, the reason I went on this journey, the reason why I began walking this enormous journey was because of this, because I love this, and I love that, and I love these elements, and they inspired me to write this story. Stop for a moment, if you don't want to go check out that guide, and ask yourself, what excites me the most about this story? What's fun? What drove me to start this from the beginning? And if you want to, write those down, put them next to your computer, so they're always there. You can always look at them and remind yourself, yeah, I love the main character's antics. I love how weird the magic is in this world. I have been looking forward to these 2 characters who are so unlike one another to finally realize that they're exactly what they need. In the most unlikely of places, they found exactly what they were looking for. Find that thing. Find the shiny story idea that was there all along and explore it. Write about it. Have fun with it. I hate to be like this, but there will always be a shiny new idea out there. I think it was John Steinbeck who actually came up with the concept of like blood bunnies. But like, you know, you have a bunny, then you have like 10 bunnies, and then you have 1,000 bunnies. And I hate to be like this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, there will always be shiny story ideas, then time to write them. So find a story that you really like. Remember the elements that inspire you to start that writing journey, and keep on walking, okay? You're almost there, just gotta keep going, okay? Okay. And so that brings another writing advice Q&A to a close. That last answer was actually really good. That was really nice, Max. Oh, why thank you. You didn't have to. I'm such a silly dumb butt. Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that if anything, I gave you another point of view. I love doing these videos. I love answering your questions. And if you have any questions for future videos, leave them in the comments down below. I add them to the pool, and every week I roll dice, and this week, these questions were answered. Maybe next week yours will. Who knows? I don't. The dice maybe know, but Lady Luck never returns my calls, so, Did you get my text? Why didn't you text me back? Isn't that... that is truly a story for the ages. But anyhow, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you get some writing done, okay? Okay.